And so, there, at the restaurant, in front of other people, for whatever reason, he felt comfortable telling us that he was committing voter fraud.
What?
I have more respect for Martin than any other individual.
I mean, these are good criticisms. They show the immaturity of Destiny. He's willing to seemingly become friends with like very bad people.
He's a registered voter in Nebraska. He votes in Nebraska, even though he's in Miami and should have registered to vote there.
I thought you were saying that he was like gonna buy 20,000 votes. I feel like the term voter fraud's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
This isn't just a simple, I cheated. This was a deliberate affair that happened.
Bro, I'm not trying to be that guy. I don't care about him cheating on his wife. Like, I know that's a shitty thing to do. I don't value Destiny for his home life. I don't think he's a particularly good person when it comes to his relationships. I value Destiny because he's correct when it comes to politics.
Internet has gaslit us into thinking that Destiny is just a victim, that everyone just hates him for no reason.
Do people actually think that people hate Destiny for no reason? Not at all.
Since Destiny is involved in politics, and given the way that this election went, I just want to send a note to the Democrats that we do not need an Andrew Tate on the left.
I would kind of say that it's a little bit downplaying of like the atrocities of Andrew Tate to insinuate that Destiny's anything close to him. Okay, guys. I've been meaning to watch this video for a little while now. Someone sent it to me the other day. I had a little vacation, went to Maryland, having a nice time in life, etc., etc. There's some other stuff to talk about, but now we got to this. It's from Brittany Simon. I think her and Destiny have an interesting history. I don't know all the education on it, and I have no interest. It's too much. There's so much online lore, gets so deep and so toxic. So that's all I'm going to say there. Yeah, it says, let's finally talk about Destiny. Misogynist, cheater, and apologist, we'll say. So let's give it a shot. Let's see if it'll change our mind about our little gooner Destiny.
In today's video, we will be discussing the streamer Destiny.
Internet communities, especially online ones that do like political debate and video games, are very much like big boys clubs. So
True.
It's not enough to just say you can't be misogynistic. Always going to be an othering effect on women.
There's a lot of stuff that you're saying that is a part of misogyny that's almost like obvious. Like any woman will tell you that.
A woman will, yeah, but they're not in these spaces, and a lot of the guys don't know it.
I think
True. Well, it's because women stink at video games, am I right, guys? They do. They do. But maybe, I don't know if it's because it's their girls. Maybe it's really just because girls didn't grow up playing games as much. I don't really know. But my wife is terrible. She's trying to play Pokemon Go and she can't figure it out. So that's interesting.
what that requires is just empathy.
If you do not know who he is, it's okay. I will tell you.
No drama, but Brittany talks about you in regards to relationship advice starting here until at least 8 minutes later. Don't get upset. Oh no.
I'm open to criticizing all of my friends for their choices.
Don't get
but then,
upset.
Look, Abby tried to come to Steven and say your hedonistic lifestyle isn't working. And Destiny got not only like offended and defensive, but literally was not open to the conversation. Did not.
Oh, well, I mean, I think that's reasonable. You know, I mean, I understand Destiny's very public about all this stuff. So, but, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to necessarily talk about like my personal issues publicly. Destiny's life is so online. It's so unhealthy, just in general. More unhealthy than my morbid obesity.
Bro, I'll talk about anything all the time ever. Are we serious? No, I just brought up Rolo.
Yeah, you just brought up Rolo. So then the question stands: did you f Lauren Southern?
Right, I remember this meme vaguely. I think what was her name? I said it before. I forget her name. Anyway, the former ex-girlfriend of Think Before You Sleep doctored like a fake email saying that Destiny and Lauren Southern had a secret child, sent it to Rolo. He took the bait, had a meltdown, and then embarrassed him routinely. What was her name again? I think it was another Brittany. Not Brittany Broski. Brittany something. It was funny.
Hey, you brought it up.
I feel like I have more conversations about my lifestyle than literally any other person on the internet.
Yes,
it's probably not a good thing. Brittany Venti, yeah. Set some boundaries, bud, you know?
He's a content creator here on YouTube who has made the rounds as a combative debate bro and somebody who's involved in politics.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I said it before, I'll say it again. Flawed as Destiny is, probably the best fight back online to a lot of the insane narratives going on. I mean, he definitely, there's some things I disagree with Destiny on. I feel like he's a little immature, but I mean, you know, he's fighting back. I mean, he was, even now you have people like Jon Stewart, somebody that I love incredibly. I think he's so phenomenal, saying the same things Destiny is saying now after the election, that we need to fight harder, that like we need to be a little bit more populist when it comes to our conversations, policy conversations. We need to be more relatable. We need to, you know, stoop a little bit lower, get a little bit more on the playing field of Republicans, and just like, you know, I don't agree fully with everything. I think that, you know, we should still maintain some level of decorum, but, you know, we have to stop being overly dignified. So I don't know, man. he's kind of right. He's kind of right about a lot of things, you know. So
the Democrats and the liberal side.
I don't think you know what American values are. I don't think you know what this country was founded or
True.
built upon. And I think you guys are obsessed with a cult leader.
But I need to make an argument today that we need to stop interacting with people that are misogynistic and apologists. Destiny has once again proven that he has not changed, and that
I mean, I remember he was kind of friendly with Mr. Girl, and that guy is like an actual fucking, you know, nightmare. So like, I know he's had historically not great friendships or interactions, you know. Obviously, I don't approve of that, but
he's willing to throw women under the bus. He's willing to throw minorities under the bus, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if that means
me, guys. I would never be willing to throw minorities under the bus. Just throw them to the back of the bus. I'm kidding, of course, guys. I'm kidding.
At the expense of everybody else. I am not making any accusations about Destiny, but I am going to tell you what he told me in private and was confirmed later by others, and things he told me in group dynamics. None of the people that were there during those group conversations will be mentioned, but if they would like to come forward to confirm what he told all of us and what we all know to be true based off what he told us, you can do that, but I will not name names because right now we need to focus on Destiny. One of the things I want to avoid is something that he does often, which is puts the blame on everybody else and away from himself.
Videos.
So she's doing it.
I don't know. I don't know about that,
Well,
right?
I think that could be pretty. I think she's a person that likes to see good in people, and I think she does see good in people. I think that's a good thing.
Then how do you come away with these opinions of me? Am I really that retarded that I can't see myself so much?
Introspection
Maybe.
is really hard because you would have to face the ugliness within yourself to transform yourself. He's talking to the woman that
Very deep, very deep.
he cheated on and gaslit, and now they're divorced, about why I think he might not be doing the greatest things to the people around him. And I want to make sure that we are focused on him.
I don't know, man. I feel like I understand Destiny's life is so online, but this feels more like a private conversation, no? I don't know. I don't know. Some of the aspects of this online shit is just so strange to me. I just feel like not everything needs to be online. It just gets so bizarre.
Since he is, in many ways, the ringleader of a lot of these people, and two, he is responsible for his actions and his actions alone. Since Destiny is involved in politics, and given the way that this election went, I just want to send a note to the Democrats that we do not need an Andrew Tate on the left. So here.
I don't think that. I mean, Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is a few levels worse than Destiny. I mean, Andrew Tate, we're talking about like a sex trafficking ring. Right? Like, I mean, Destiny, you have to do a lot. I'd say he's more of the Ben Shapiro, fast talking, intelligent. I would say that Ben probably has a better general morality. I can appreciate that Ben seems to have a strong family unit, something that I appreciate a lot. Actually, quite a bit. Seems to treat his wife well, something I appreciate quite a bit. So, but I obviously agree with Destiny's politics more. But I mean, honestly, Destiny's probably the exact person that we need. I don't know. He's willing to just sling in the mud, dude. I don't know, because we kind of need that right now.
Here's what I know. Present tense Destiny.
I just don't think calling him Andrew Tate is. I mean, that's like a drastic hyperbole. I feel like it's way too hyperbolic.
Person who just a few days ago.
I mean, being a rape apologist, according to this title, is different from being an actual rapist, right? And that's if this is true. Again, he was friends with Mr. Girl for a while, which I thought was pretty disgusting. So if that's what it is, like, yeah, definitely disgusting stuff. But hopefully he's moved on and changed.
So mocked and belittled an assault victim, someone who was a part of his own group, made it clear that he's willing to be a rape apologist and misogynist like he's always been. Recently, somebody in his community named Kelly Jean, who is an assault victim, came to him because of his paid mod, Forethought.
I'd rather not bring up the details of a sexual assault that relates to me. Out of preference.
That's fair. I don't think you should either.
I was checking if he's referring to like a thing that actually happened, right?
Yes, yes.
For those in my
Okay, Kelly Jean, stop pretending you're hurt by sexism. Your greatest aspiration was being an esports rape victim. Holy fuck, no wonder you wish you got raped. You've got literally nothing going on to be doing this at 40. Jesus Christ. What the fuck? That's insane. Okay.
audience who are listening and not watching, I'm going to read out the text messages.
Who is Kelly Jean?
So you understand the context of those messages and why they were so disgusting. Please heed a trigger warning related to assault. These messages are from Forethought to Kelly Jean. Kelly Jean, stop pretending you're hurt by sexism. Your greatest aspiration was being an esports victim. Second message, Kelly Jean, holy no wonder you wish you got You've got literally nothing going on to be doing this at 40.
Is Big Steve there in the background?
Yeah, he's in the background.
Yep, just hanging out.
Hey, Big Steve, you've read these DMs. The question is the $15 a week truly worth it for this man to be
What's the context here?
running the shit like it's his own? There is people that will do it that you trust for free. You do not have to give mod back to me or anyone else. There has to be better people that do not say shit like this.
Because I'm looking up Kelly Jean. It's just a ton of Destiny drama. What is... Oh, man, you got to look into Kelly Jean. I feel like I don't need to look into Kelly Jean. This seems like more extraordinarily community deep shit that I don't even know if I want to get into.
There has to
Yeah, well, I mean,
Why did you only send this to you because you got banned?
Darius, shut the fuck up and let Destiny speak, you stupid.
Forethought's been running the subreddit for a couple of years. The subreddit has been spam reported, brigaded, attacked by a whole bunch of external communities, and somehow he's managed to keep the subreddit alive. I don't really know anybody else with a record of like moderating a subreddit that I could trust in that position.
Forethought wrote her disgusting messages that I think any reasonable and rational person would find deplorable. When confronted with this by even people in his friend group, including Dan, who's now infamously known for taking down Twitch, Destiny laughed. He belittled Kelly Jean and he made misogynistic jokes. When Kelly Jean came to him,
What is the? I want to see that response. This is insane. Kelly Jean is insane. Maybe I don't know. I don't know enough context here. Kelly Jean is a bad person. What is Forethought? There does not value her as a person and thinks nothing she said. Okay. All right. It sounds like extraordinarily toxic people being dog shit. Okay. Interesting. I'm just going to have to take this in.
When Dan pressured him, when people in his community asked him why is he letting this pass, he basically said that Forethought was a good moderator of his Reddit and he didn't see the issue because it happened basically, quote, in private.
Forethought thinks he's like somehow winning the battle after doing all this with Kelly. So settle down.
Please hold up.
Do you stand by these logs, Forethought?
I thought Forethought was going to be some kind of porn thing. What the hell? Oh, Forethought is a mod. Kelly G is a female orbiter who attacks any new female on stream, taking time away from her. This lore seems way too deep for me. Is there a lore video on Kelly Jean?
Hell yeah, 100%. There's no treatment of Kelly Jean that is incorrect.
That means that you've dehumanized me to the point where I am like what?
Yes,
Nothing,
I've said that.
You do realize that that has a knock-on effect to everyone else that reads this shit, right? You can't just like see this in a vacuum and be like, I hate Kelly, therefore saying anything to Kelly is fine, because
Yeah,
it
I'll
does have
pay the
effects
comic
elsewhere.
book for
Young
that.
men in the chat who are might be getting into their first like relations with women. And
Yeah, sorry for the Elliot Roger of the future that I'm inspiring.
Just a reminder, Elliot Roger, who he just mentioned, was the infamous incel who gunned down women.
Okay.
men in the chat who are might be getting into their first like relations with women. And
Yeah, sorry for the Elliot Roger of the future that I'm inspiring.
Just a reminder, Elliot Roger, who he just mentioned, was the infamous incel who gunned down women for not dating him.
It's not just
Wait, hold on,
that, but
I think she was at Cherry to eat her baby. Wow, these people seem really like a lot of good people here.
the whole idea is that if there's no wrong way to treat Kelly Jean or whatever, if that's her mentality when it comes to her, who's to say that doesn't expand to other people if you're mad at
You'd
them?
have to work really hard to get in the Kelly Jean camp.
Can we just start? Why is it okay to do whatever you want
to Kelly Jean.
Oh yeah.
You'd have to ask Destiny that.
I mean, it's Kelly Jean.
That's not that.
Yeah, but if you have that mentality, Destiny, then yeah, he's gonna copy it, isn't he?
I think this is a reflection of his character in present tense, and
I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you, okay? Dude, I don't even know. I mean, I don't know. I have no. See, the thing is it's not a far stretch to believe that whoever Kelly Jean is, she's just as fucking insane as Destiny. I feel like the only people that are really willing to get like close to Destiny, super close to Destiny, are insane, except for ABBA. Like that's pretty much it. It seems to be like a whole bunch of people who interact with Destiny try to platform and career themselves by being like toxically insane. You know, I like the guy, but it's a reason why I don't want to get too close. You know, I wouldn't doubt that she's fucking insane. I mean, what he said was definitely inappropriate. I would say don't talk to her or about her anymore instead of saying horrible things like that. But Jesus Christ.
and I'm disappointed but not surprised.
Because I've been wanting to talk to you about the anti-misogyny arc for a long time. And I feel like I actually have a lot of thoughts about essentially like how do we achieve this on like the internet, particularly in a political space that is like pretty dominantly masculine. I think there's an intention within DDG, from what I can tell, from what you say and what people say, to make women feel comfortable in this space. Is that correct?
There's an intention from me. There's probably an intention from part of my community, but I would say it's probably a minority.
Why are the feminine traits that are already embodied within this space not celebrated and respected as much as when the masculine traits are embodied?
Because I think the thing that is the most attractive to this space, where it excels in the most, is in the combative masculine traits.
Yes. Is there a way to see a appreciation for feminine traits?
Possibly, but that's not what I excel in, so that's never going to be, or at least that's not what I'm like really good in, so that's not going to be what people are going to tune into me for, probably.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. I mean, it's... Kelly Jean's thing is still kind of get me. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense as a response. I don't think that women are necessarily going to resonate with Destiny from a content creator perspective. He's more of like kind of appeals to like an edgier gamer bro community of people.
Eurodite, when you're talking about feminine traits, what do you think the gain would be? What's a measurable difference? If the community was more accepting of feminine traits, what would the benefit to women in the community be? I actually think that most of the issues that I see in DGG are from not like being accepting of feminine traits.
I guess I'm postulating a hypothesis. I suspect that if feminine traits viewed as more respect-worthy and more often, even just like in casual ways.
Well, what are we talking? What feminine trait do you want to hear? I mean, I just feel like... I don't know.
Like, I mean, like, awesome, that's great. Like, if you go to, I don't want to say.
I don't know. There's not a whole lot of, dude. I don't know, dude. I mean, like, what's the goal here? To get a female that's like a female Destiny? I just think that women are probably just smarter than that, and they don't want to be in that space. Any intelligent woman is not dumb enough to be an online content creator. They just go and do something fucking. They do something educated that makes less money. Maybe they're dumber. I don't know. Thank you for the small gut from Full of Pestilence.
Say your name without upsetting people. But if you go to Brittany Simon's streams, well, there's lots of issues that you might have with it. It is a very feminine community, right? And if you look at the way that the chat comments, it's obviously going to be very different. If we saw feminine traits being respected more, that we would see retention of women potentially increase because they would feel like traits that they probably are more naturally inclined toward is valued in itself.
I don't know if that's valuing feminine traits, though, so much as people gathering around somebody that embodies feminine traits. Like, I think it follows from the creator.
For the last 2 years, I've been holding on to information that Destiny told me, that people confirmed, and as much as I thought I would never have to say it,
why were you holding on to it, though?
Apparently, he has decided not to change, to double down, and to continue being a misogynist and apologist. And since Destiny is so involved in politics, I want to make it clear this.
Okay, I just want to. When did this Kelly Jean stuff happen? Did this Kelly Jean stuff happen when Brittany was still friends with Destiny? It's just like a legitimate question.
Isn't somebody you want as an ally, as he's willing to throw anyone under the bus who gets in his way. The focus of my channel is to harm reduce. And so here I am participating in what I believe is harm reduction. I can only hope that people in the future take my message into consideration before participating in Destiny's events, or God forbid dating him, given his track record in abuse of women. I've met Destiny once in Miami after a few content creators and I decided to.
It happened like a week ago? Oh. Did it? This happened a week? Wait, the Kelly Jean stuff happened a week ago? What the fuck? I'm so fucking dude. This is insane. How much is going on here?
Lab. It was overall a great event.
My guess is in 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, because when I looked up Kelly Jean stuff, it said that this stuff was like 8 months old. Is this just like an on again, off again issue? What the fuck?
What I said was, Lab is going to have a disagreement with Max over something because she is opinionated, even if she's like malleable, and she's going to realize when she has a disagreement, she's going to think she's safe to do it, but there's going to be a disagreement. He's going to not budge at all. She's going to get increasing aggravated. She's going to realize, oh, he is a crazy narcissist. And then I don't know if she'll come back to me, if she might be too prideful.
Do you want her to come back?
Yeah, the Kelly Jean stuff's been going on for years. This seems like some insanely like deep lore. What the fuck?
Not really. It would take
Are
a
you
lot.
gonna accept her?
It would take a lot of apologizing. Okay?
What kind of apologizing?
You don't even care about apologies.
You don't even
The
care
problem
about
is that,
apologies.
like, because
But
the
you
issue
just
is that,
want
like,
to
she's
suffer.
talked an unbelievable amount of shit to me to strangers in her Discord and DMs.
We're done, right?
That was
We're
less
block her.
personal. I didn't care
She's
about
never coming
that.
back. That's
Probably. She would have to come back as like, I did like 12 months at like a Catholic monastery, and now I'm like,
You know what? This is probably where I'm going to defend that. I don't even care about none of that stuff. I just hate every time she's on stream. It's always like, laugh. I just like, I don't want to hear her.
If you bring Lab back.
But I think he thinks she's a good guest. So I think that's
she absolutely is a good guy. If I brought Lab online right now, we'd have 20,000 viewers.
I don't think so.
I remember the Lab stuff. She's like insane. I think she even said that Hassan assaulted her or something. And we know Hassan never does stuff like that. He doesn't go to like brothels with anything like that.
I think if you brought her on right now, you wouldn't get grow by more than 1,000.
If what? If Lab came on right now?
13,000.
Another woman orbiter made fun of Kelly Jean's illness, and she replied back by making fun of her miscarriage and told her that she should eat her miscarried baby. Wow, we're dealing with a lot of really good people here. I wonder if there's a pattern. What the hell? What the fuck? Kelly Jean tries to be edgy, and then she cries when she gets it back. Okay, well.
It's gonna happen. He's gonna do it right now.
No,
But during the time that I was there, I was confided in. I was told things about Destiny's life, and his ex-wife, his now ex-wife, they confided in me together and separately about their marriage and the issues that they were having. And on top of that,
Oh, maybe that should stay private, no?
during dinner events with multiple people, not just his ex-wife and I, but others, he did
90 videos, 70 Reddit pages, and 20 Discord leaks later. Yeah, I'm not educating myself to that degree on this fucking Kelly Jean person.
admit to things I never thought he would admit to. Things related to politics, things related to this job that he claims to love so much. But remember that Destiny isn't somebody with values fighting for the marginalized. He's somebody who wants the credit for winning a battle.
Yeah, but
maybe it's probably a level of truth to that.
People that engage in this sometimes the most are the people that also screech and cry that debate isn't worthwhile, which is why there are people in here screaming that I guess that I'm on speed, and people screaming that I read Wikipedia.
Brother, you've been the one doing the screaming on here.
Dude, I mean, you're the biggest streamer, so you're going to get a lot of people, especially other streamers, criticizing you for stuff.
I'm just saying, just within this room right here, within this conversation right here, the past 30 minutes, this has happened in here.
Right. I mean, I can't speak for everybody else. You know, I could say, like, from my standpoint, the issue I have with your content in particular is not even so much the way that you debate or even any of your positions, even though I disagree with a lot of the stuff you say. I feel like the community around it, from my vantage point anyway, is sort of the problem, right? Like, there's this very much this mentality of, like, this kind of ironically an echo chamber is developed And it's when you engage with people, it becomes like this, you know, almost like this project to try and own them or present them as a fool. And then everybody in that echo chamber, like, you know, kind of perpetuates that. And it's all about like finding faults and flaws and little mistakes that they make and then tearing them down and owning them rather than clarifying the position or deepening anybody's understanding or opening other people up to different ideas.
As I tell this story, I want to make it clear that the Miami event didn't actually occur just in Miami in an isolated event.
What is the Miami event?
There were also events leading up to it in which Destiny would tell me things, his wife, ex-wife, his now ex-wife, would tell me things. And this helped me build my understanding of Destiny as a character. His flaws, his beliefs, his values, and the things that he would say to me did over time change the way that I saw him. I had initially reached out to him because a fan suggested that I collab with him, and I did not do my research to know who he was before engaging. When Destiny reached out to him because a fan suggested that I collab.
What? Sorry, I just want to read this because this doesn't make any sense to me. My name is Brittany. So I'm a YouTuber who lives in introspecting philosophy. So on YouTube, I had an audience member introduce me to your content. I also learned about you throughout collabing with you. I fall more towards that side of YouTube. And definitely, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I don't know. I feel like, okay. I mean, I guess I reached out to him a long time ago when I was on TikTok and for a conversation. So, okay.
With him.
I mean, it's impossible to really know the full Destiny lore.
And I did not do my research to know who he was before engaging. When Destiny and I eventually went our own separate ways, there was something that he was kind of infamous for saying, and something that I never could allude to until now. He would often say, how can Brittany see me so much differently than I see myself? And it's because when these men or women or they thems, when anyone tells you a story about their life and who they are, they always make themselves the good guy. Except they forget that when they tell people their life story, the details of their beliefs and their motivations for the way that they treat and manipulate people, I'm taking note, as are you. So I did take note, and my opinions of him did change over time. He could never fathom that it was because of things he had personally.
Miami was the ABBA Brittany stream. Also, she slapped him consensually during the stream. Oh yeah, I remember that Tree of Life person. That was like the Brittany hit piece I looked at. Which, by the way, Tree of Life seems pretty cool. I'm not saying she's bad because I watched her recently with other stuff, like the whole fucking what is it? The old Walter. Walter prostitute thing was fucking insane. So, but yeah, I remember that. Okay.
He told me. Instead, he usually on stream would go into rants about conspiracy theories of all the reasons why I must be anti-Destiny. Maybe I'm colluding with the anti-Destiny community.
I don't know, man. Maybe you're both like immature. I'm not trying to be that guy, but like Destiny is immature, and I can imagine a lot of people that might hang out with him could be very immature as well. I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe you're all fucking immature.
Maybe I'm traumatized. Maybe it's my mental health. Or maybe it was just the things that he told me. Though it was very clear on who Destiny was.
Destiny declared on Vice News yesterday that he implements different debate tactics depending on who he's on the other side. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. What does that matter?
Was as a person, and I really should
Tree of logic, yeah.
Believe people when they tell me who they are. It was hard to imagine that this person who was so passionate and articulate and seemed to fight for good things was behind closed doors and maybe even honestly on stream a pretty awful person whose behavior was often ignored because honestly he won debates. That's really the thing that's at play here is Destiny gets away with a lot of his behavior because he's really good at winning, which sort of reminds me of this recent election.
Yeah, he's good at debating, sure. I mean, people are going to respect that because he's an intelligent person that puts in a lot of effort into understanding the topic that he's debating.
How could the American people vote for a liar and a racist because he wins elections? And something about that really makes people want to cheer for you.
Well, I think that when it comes to Trump, he has all of his people thinking that everything against him is a conspiracy theory. So I think that has a lot to do with it.
But he wants to be on the side of a winner, regardless of how abusive, misogynistic apologists they are.
Can't have a conversation with somebody who wants to win. He's smart in manipulating people that follows him. But he's not a smart guy. He's actually an idiot.
He's a contrarian by nature. That's like what he does is like debate and argue. I get along with him. We have a respectful. He's in Miami. We have a respectful relationship. We disagree.
I mean, Myron's an anti-Semite. I really have no interest in using any of the words of these fucking morons in any capacity. I'm going to take the rape apologist over the anti-Semite talking about how Jews control the world every single day of the week. I'm so sorry, but I'm Jewish. You think that's terrible if Destiny is a rape apologist? But I'm obviously not going to take the word of literally an actual anti-Semite who's friends with Sneeko, whose big thing is, hey, 12-year-olds can marry 20-year-olds. That's okay. Not really resonating with me. This isn't going to do much for me. You're not exactly recalling on to the best people here.
Around everything though, but it's crazy.
Pause.
I hate saying this. I hate this. I was talking to somebody else. I was talking to somebody else.
I mean, one of the biggest criticisms you could say is that because Myron is a rape apologist. I remember Myron looked at a girl. This would be the best argument, I guess, for your rape apologist thing. Is Myron was talking to some girl on his podcast one time, and she was talking about how she was assaulted, and he's like, you know, who he basically said that it's her fault for picking the guy, and Destiny later on said, not in exact reference to that clip, I don't even know if you saw it, but that Myron was kind of a good guy. Myron's not a good person. Myron is an actual rape apologist. So, I mean, that's a great argument. Something I already know. Destiny associates himself with pieces of shit. I mean, obviously, you know.
In all of my years, God, this feels so shitty. In all my years doing content, I have more respect for Myron than any other individual.
Oh, see, right there, that's problematic.
Fresh in front. Yo, Prince is like a. It looks like a. You should see him build momentum. What the.
He is the only person that I've seen that will consistently go into areas where there's so much like laughing and jokes and fun times we had right here if he was shit on me, but he doesn't. He won't do it.
He's like a monkey. Preacher's over there looking like McGilla Grill and Donkey Kong having a baby.
He's the only person I think I've known in like my entire professional career who has like a large like independent career that's
Reason
not
to
like
do it.
yeah that wouldn't do it. I'm implicating other people. Like I don't think Abba would do it, but Abba's not like in space. So people are like shooting me so hard. Him calling you contrarian is when he calls me contrarian, he just means I like to argue a lot, which is true I do, but he doesn't read it in like the super malicious way. But yeah, I give him a huge credit for that.
You say you're not anti-Semitic. So here's the clip this is the one that he erased from the other day, and then you can tell me if this is anti-Semitic or not. You're
wearing the fucking beard.
You're sitting with Nick Fuentes, by the way, a known neo-Nazi. You agree?
I mean, this is a reasonable criticism. Honestly, it is. It's not something I already knew. You know, it's fine to have a conversation with Myron and be cordial in a conversation with him and all that. Like that's not something that necessarily bothers me. But I mean, it is pretty shitty when you're praising this guy who is like Myron's a legitimate rape apologist who told a woman that was assaulted that like, oh, she should have picked a better guy. Myron's a bad person, like fundamentally. You want to maintain cordialness so that you can have a debate, like that's totally fine. But it does seem like Destiny's priority is people who are friendly with him more than anything else, at least in this instance. So,
agree with that, right? He's a neo-Nazi.
I have more respect for Myron than any other individual.
No, he's not praising his views, but like that would be one of the problems, right? Wouldn't that be one of the problems? Is that like he's not taking into account like these guys' views when it comes to thinking that they're like decent people or having any level of respect for them?
I wouldn't agree with you on that.
Fuentes' treatment of me is so bad. I don't understand. That's something he'll have to learn and grow. Not to sound like not to be too self-aggrandizing, but like Fuentes should be worshiping me.
Yeah, sure. Destiny isn't saying he likes his views, but how he doesn't backstab. Sure, I understand that. But again, he said I've seen Destiny say that Myron's a decent guy when he was having his very public fallout with his ex-wife, and it's because Myron didn't like double down and like dumpster on him. I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe he's more sensitive than we all thought. I don't know. It's definitely questionable ethics here. He's still great at debating. But it's definitely, you know, I mean, it's not exactly like anything I didn't necessarily know already. It's one of the aspects of Destiny that I find extraordinarily immature, you know? Destiny's constantly combative with them. The praise is the fact that they maintain the same level of attitude from him as he's okay when they're away from him. Okay. I mean, I guess that's fair.
Because I am literally I was the only lifeline that he had to like being able to breach like mainstream political conversations. Like I represented a huge potential opportunity to him, and he just was so bad faith in the way that he treats me. It's unbelievable.
Hey, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay?
Did this happen after? I don't know.
Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. It's your body, my choice.
He should have been so conciliatory towards me. And I'm not looking for that. I'm not asking him to be my bitch or anything. But for him to be like relentlessly bad faith against me all the time, I'm like, bro, who the f are you? I can put you on a stream in front of 14,000 people. Like I'm giving your phone number to like Adam 22 so you go to a show. Why the f would you like burn my shit so hard? Like you're so.
I have more respect for Myron than any other individual.
So now I'm going to explain.
Yeah, I mean, these are good criticisms. They show the immaturity of Destiny. He's willing to seemingly become friends with like very bad people. Yeah, I mean, something we kind of already knew, no? I mean, at least he's not interacting with Nick Fuentes anymore, but
exactly what I know about Destiny that made me change the way that I saw him. First and foremost, there was an affair, and this affair was messy. When he confided in me about the affair,
I don't know. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I don't care about Destiny's affair. It's really just like a private thing. It's not. I don't. You know what I mean? Like
when his ex-wife confided in me about the affair, when his mutual friends and I discussed it, it was something that was complicated and gray and messy and involved children, a married person, somebody with a reputation on the internet that, well, was pretty bad. It also was the last person I thought it would be, given that Destiny claimed to be such a liberal and a progressive at some points in his life. So for him to have an affair with somebody who was, quote, on enemy sides felt odd, strange, morally bankrupt in some ways.
Destiny's, I guess, still a man. I don't know if I don't think that Democrats or leftists are less open to cheating on their spouses. Well, I'd say this is more of a male quality, but anyone that has unlimited power is going to act like a piece of shit, and that's kind of where Destiny is. You know what I mean? Like, that's unfortunately. That's what happens when you don't have regulation on yourself. I understand that, like, personally, my wife and I used to be poly, and I was a gooner going around, like, being a degenerate piece of shit. And we finally closed off, and I've been more regulated and more under control, and this has been, like, the best year of my life, content-wise and just family-wise, and friend-wise.
This is how the story goes, according to what I was told by his ex-wife and him. There was an affair, a long-time affair with a fellow content creator named Lauren Southern.
This stream is hilarious. Well, I'm glad I had a bunch of people earlier. They're like, I am unsubbing. This is disgusting that you're in the presence of a libtard. I'm glad someone's enjoying it. No, you should.
Damn, he looks like such a cuck here. Jesus Christ.
Talk to him. He's
That's
obsessed with
crazy.
Donald Trump, and it's disgusting.
Now I know why people like Destiny so much. He gives a lot of these, like, you know, younger beta men hope. Jesus Christ.
You really need to talk to him.
No, we're just. What does that say? It says "Make America Great Again." Okay.
Oh, just the whole point. No, he genuinely is like a hardcore Trump supporter. He just said the election was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Okay, and I'm still upset about it. I have a right to be upset. Okay.
Lauren Southern, if you don't know, is quite controversial. She's sort of infamous for shooting flare guns up in the air around migrant boats.
If the politicians won't stop the boats, then we'll stop the boats.
Wow. What a real American patriot there. What a fucking loser. Incredible.
Lauren is also somebody who's been in the conservative circles out of Canada and is considered a trad wife. So recently, she did go through a divorce that allegedly had abuse involved, and there is a child.
In fact, one of the creators that received these emails was...
Oh, that's Destiny's kid, guys. That's Destiny's kid. That's my understanding. That's Destiny's kid.
Destiny. I think you interviewed him recently, and instead of his email that he got was, you should confront Lauren during one of your live stream debates and drop on her that she's actually a divorced single mother who failed in her marriage and who stole her child and was cheating on her husband.
Thank you for the $5 from Little F Boy. Hey, Papa, would you rather share a night in Barbados with Walter and eat coconuts or visit Magic Johnson's house during a mosquito season? Walter seems like a nice guy, and he gave a little pushback to Myron. So, you know, maybe I would take Myron for a little spin in the whip, if you know what I'm saying, dude.
Then he reached out to me and was like, this is really like unhinged behavior.
Destiny was right wing. Was that real? Oh, is that actually a real quip? I thought he was just being a little cuck. I knew Destiny was right wing at some point. Was that actually Destiny being right wing there? No. He's been left leaning for a while. Was that like 2016? When the fuck was that? Was he? I thought he. Because I remember he said that he used to be like right wing and then he changed his mind politically. Wow. How long ago was that?
Are you okay? Like, how can I, like, can you take this to court? Is there anything you can do about this? And that's...
No, that wasn't real. That was a joke, right? I knew that, like, when he was younger, he was conservative, but no way during the... Yeah, okay. You think he was for fucking... You guys are trolling me too hard, dude. You guys are trolling me too hard. I'm too susceptible to the misinformation. Stop it.
How I kind of started to find out about the emails.
During this time and during this divorce, somewhere along that timeline, there was an affair. And this affair got messy. One, because Destiny's now ex-wife didn't know it was happening. And even though they claimed to be in an open relationship, there was a lot of lying and deception that occurred. According
Yeah, I mean, you can still cheat when you're in an open relationship. Sure, I get that.
to them, he had kept the affair secret and kept telling her that nothing was going on. Every time she inquired, hey, you seem odd. Are you okay? Something seems off. He would say, you're crazy. Everything's fine. Everything's great. I'm normal. You're the one who's not normal. There was gaslighting involved. There was lying and deception. All of this time, he was sleeping with Lauren Southern, meeting up with her, collabing with her, and planning to leave his now ex-wife for her.
Damn. Is that part real? I feel like that part may not be real, but the rest of it, probably is true.
This isn't just a simple, I cheated. This was a deliberate affair that happened, and over a course of time, he deceived and lied to his now ex-wife. And honestly, if it didn't go the way it did, he would have been with Lauren Southern now. But
okay. He changed his signs after 9/11. Bro, I'm not trying to be that guy. I don't care about him cheating on his girlfriend, or his wife. Like, I know that's a shitty thing to do. I don't value Destiny for his home life. I don't think he's a particularly good person when it comes to his relationships, regardless of anything. So, I don't. It's not something that I'm like super high valuing here. This is he said, she said. It's just not something that I value Destiny for. I value Destiny because he's correct when it comes to politics. So, Yeah. I don't know.
Lauren had a change of heart and decided to dump Destiny for somebody else. He came back crying to his...
I give the $2 from Hogsicle. It says misinformation on the ceiling. What is it? Or does it say misinformation?
His now ex-wife and begged her to take him back, claiming his mental...
This whole entire video is his relationship. Why are you watching him? I mean, this is a video about how we shouldn't interact with Destiny anymore. I'm curious about the video. People sent it to me. You want to know the answer? Because I'm going to get paid watching this video. That's why.
Mental health was impaired. That's also what he told me. He told me that my mental health was insane. You don't understand, Brittany. I was so distraught. I was so mentally ill. I don't know. I was insane. You don't understand. And we believed him. We somehow tried our best to meet him where he was. And though we called him out and said this was unethical, he also claimed he was suffering. And all of us believe in redemption and restorative justice in a sense, at least I do. So I thought, okay, maybe he just needs therapy. So that time that I was in Miami, Destiny was busy on his phone because he was being canceled by another group of content creators for abuse of women. And he sat there at a
what is that?
Restaurant with me and his now ex-wife and openly admitted that in order to win this war against these content creators, he would manipulate a woman who was honestly so abused by his community, who has her own problems, but also didn't deserve any of the backlash or misogynistic bullying harassment that occurred because of Destiny's interactions with this woman. But he picked her, used her, manipulated her, admitted to us at dinner that he was doing it, and said, this is the only way to win the war. I have to convince her to be on my side. And
what the hell is she talking about? Who's the person?
I looked at him and I said, this is unethical. This is unethical to manipulate this woman. This is unethical to, quote, win this war. This is unethical. And his ex-wife looked at me and said, and this is the man I married. And though he looked ashamed, he did not slow down.
Yeah.
Who's the person? What is happening? There's a lot of this is like very he said, she said. What are we referring to?
Well, no, where it would be so big that I won't even go on
He's talking about Anna? Who's Anna?
shows or I won't have people that are like platforming them. I don't know if I've ever done that before.
No, you're only done with Anna.
You remember the girl I told you about that Destiny was manipulating behind the scenes?
The abuse of him was Mr. Girl alleging it? Oh, Mr. Girl. Almost got banned. Mr. Girl's a bad person. I don't like Mr. Girl. Mr. Girl, I think I remember seeing something about him like laughing about raping a girl. He's a disgusting predator piece of shit who makes his like girlfriend or wife cry just for content. If anything comes from Mr. Girl, I would just never believe anything that comes from him. So is that where it comes from, or are you just trolling?
And we told him it was unethical. Yeah, he's talking about a girl named Anna, the girl he's talking about right now in this conversation. Pay close attention to the way that he talks about Anna being manipulated.
Anavar? What is that? That's the person that we're talking about?
By others. And if you can, look at my facial expression while he's talking, because in my head, I know that he's manipulating her behind the scenes, as I'm sure others are as well. But in that moment, I had no idea what to do, except push back in ways that I thought were subtle but clear. And of course, what I learned was you can't subtly push with people like Destiny.
Why are you going the extra step?
Because Max, I think, is genuinely like an evil, harmful, abusive person that I don't want to be involved in blowing up.
That's true.
Anybody around him. I don't want people to think that it's like cool to like platform that and give him like.
See, it would be the best criticism here to be like he was fine with him until they had a falling out. Like Destiny was fine platforming this big piece of shit until they had some kind of falling out. That's the better criticism. There's nothing like behind closed doors with that. That's just like the truth of it, you know? And he looked like a fool when that whole thing happened, and it is what it is. And then somebody accidentally popped into the stream while he was having that falling out and then said, oops, and then left. And that's not my fault. So it wasn't me. So shut up.
A bigger opportunity to manipulate and abuse people. And because Lav is like his witting or unwitting tool right now to like recruit people in and abuse people. Like Lav was the person that got Anna, first of all, like wired the up, especially now that I've seen a lot of DMs between her and Anna. I see that like she wired she ran the out of Anna and then she connected her to Max. Okay. So
wait, when Max you remember when you pulled me into a call with Max and I was like, I had like my hair tied back and I was like, it was like 8 o'clock at night, it was like a surprise. And you were trying to explain to me like who Max was and you were like, you know, and it kind of like in that moment I looked like an idiot, to be honest, because I was like, did I blow this out of proportion? Do you think in that moment you understood who Max was? And
so this is how people work, okay?
My criticism.
Yeah, no, but you also believe the main criticism that you believe are also with like Eridan and other people, where you're like, oh, I think that Steven is like deeply unhappy. Brittany finally.
Wait, I never.
Brittany finally saw me off stream, and Brittany finally knows now. I think where she's like, you trust that I'm not like miserable or horrible about all this shit going on. Like,
no, you're a masochist who loves to be beaten up, and you love crying women and men, and you hope that they always come to you and on you and all those.
Well, that's just weird.
Thank you.
Hey, do you know?
Anavar is someone that stalked Destiny. He kept telling his stream she was a stalker, but in DMs they were flirting. Oh, okay. What the fuck?
You just sit there.
What?
Give me criticism. I was like, oh, you heard what I said because I care about you. And then you were like, oh, but you also said this other thing. I'm like, I didn't say it. We're talking about this one thing, right?
You want me to give you props when you're criticizing me?
No, you were criticizing me. No,
you were talking about your criticism of me.
No, you were saying like I can take this.
Oh yeah, I can take some criticisms.
Like, yeah.
But the main thing that you and Eric, the last time you guys were here, you were screaming at me.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about this specific
Thank you
thing.
for your
But you're
criticism.
gonna bring up something else to shit on me.
No, I'm not bringing up the shit on you because that's your main criticism. The post in my subreddit and the things people say, and the message you sent me even earlier was about like, let's get therapy. We need to save you.
I think we should go to therapy together.
What's
That's
that?
what I'm saying.
I think he has a gripe with like.
Damn, I think you probably shouldn't have married a girl 10 years younger than you personally.
Everybody's criticism, and then I think maybe yours similarly, where he feels like you guys are concerned about the idea that he may not be happy on the inside when it comes to certain relationships.
I understand why.
It's the same advice. It's the same advice that you're probably giving his heart, but I think he feels like it's just coming
No,
from
the
a
advice
place.
right now, I think he's super happy because he's having everything. But I think if he keeps going in a certain direction, he might lose the things that actually makes him happy.
Like
That's
like
my,
what?
Like Melina and Dan, we're gone. We're out of here.
Because he's actually legit scared of things that he does sometimes, and for me, it's a lot of for me to deal with, like being with him, and when he increases like the crazy.
You mean like when he's
I
getting
get
these like Twitter dramas or?
How much public proof of this is there? I'm just curious. Like, I want to take Brittany at her word, but how much public proof of this is there for all these different things that are going on? A lot of this is like, hey, I heard something behind closed doors.
Or like, but like actual like people like making these allegations. That it's
Yeah, of course it affects me too. Yes, and no one really ever talks about that. But it does affect me.
Yeah.
So I'm telling him.
That's actually a good point because
Yes,
even though
you will-
you're
you will
resilient,
lose
the
certain
people that
things
care
in your
about you probably are actually more.
That's why you have
terrified.
to be Batman. When I do drama, I need to put on a mask.
Yeah, you would need to. But do you ever take that into consideration?
A little bit, but
because
usually
you're
the goal
more
is to-
resilient, and I actually don't care that your fans get upset because at the end of the day, that's a right to. But the people you
people
choose
that
to
are
have in your
close to you,
life,
yes.
like me, you're a grown man. If you want to up some stuff, go it up. But for someone who's actually dating you, or maybe even family members, like I don't know if that's actually the situation. I can see how that would be a terrifying thing for them.
Yeah, but the goal is to surround myself with people that are really resilient. And if people don't have a certain level of resiliency, they probably can't get like to a certain closeness of me. Like resiliency is like one of the primary things I choose for when it comes to like close friends and shit, I think.
But I would say that like even me and Dan putting up with the things that we're putting up with is still pretty like far out there compared to most people.
Yeah.
You've had it for a long time too. You can't just find someone that you just have a history with just like that. So like you have to like balance that out or figure that out. That's why I'm saying.
Do you acknowledge that? Like there is a certain level of
I acknowledge it, but when she says that, she's not really saying that. What she's saying is you're too crazy, you need to pull it back because I'm not comfortable with it. That's what she's saying.
But that's exactly what I'm understanding, which is like to a degree some.
Well, sure, but then
because she's saying like we've already met a pretty solid threshold for resilience, which I would argue if my significant other was involved in a lot of stuff that you're talking about, I'm very resilient. I would still feel like that's a lot, and you probably should pull it back because I'm like that is a lot. And so you don't think that's valid at all?
It's valid.
Because how many people you gonna meet that can handle that much? Because I don't think I can meet.
The problem is that like it's not.
Go ahead.
Well, it's not for me to say this, but like I can live my life in a lot of different ways, right? I can be a single person and be okay. Like I can do a whole bunch of
you
different
tell
things.
me on stream you really want someone to
I do. It'd be nice. But like that, like there are a lot of things that would be nice, but it doesn't mean I'm willing to make a whole bunch of sacrifices. Like when you say you really want a person.
I'm not understanding. Somebody in the chat said something along the lines of that, like him talking about resilience is a red flag in this context. I'm not understanding. I mean, maybe I'm just not absorbing some of this information because it's like a lot. But to me, it just sounds like he's a content creator in an online space that's extraordinarily intense and toxic. And he wants somebody more resilient because they're going to have a negative time when they're interacting with him. Or something like that. I know he's also a difficult person to be with. I just don't. What am I missing, chat? That or what's like at least the counter perspective here that I'm supposed to be getting out of this that I'm not understanding quite a bit. Hey, Papa Mexican, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you for $2 from my crabs. Would I debate Dazon or Destiny? What topic? I don't think I have anything to debate them on. Pretty much. Resilient to public backlash. Yeah, I'm not understanding because people are saying that like this is a red flag. I just want to understand the. I want to understand the. I want to understand the logic on why it's a red flag. Because it sounds normal to me. I mean, I've been in controversy before, so like I kind of get it, but like I don't understand.
Person that like can be like.
He's asking people close to him to put up with his lying and cheating, saying that they have to be resilient, so it's a bit concerning. Is that what he's actually saying, or is that an interpretation of what he's saying? I mean, maybe that is partially true. I mean, if he's, I guess, aware of himself enough that he'd want people to not know about cheating, but put up with the fact that he's like difficult to be around and be with. That makes sense. He's also obviously is selfish in the extent that he prioritizes himself over friends and family. That's very clear. I mean, based on where he lives in relation to where he should be living. Let's be real. I don't want to get too personal, but it's just that's a concerning aspect as well to me. I mean, you have a lot of money. I'm not sure. Maybe part of this is me being frustrated because I want to have kids and it's taking a lot of energy and effort. But you know, I don't understand why he doesn't live in the same state as his kid, which is like a frustrating point for me. It's another point of immaturity that bothers me about him. So like, obviously he's very selfish in that regard. Or maybe I'm just like ignorant on the specifics of his private life, which is why I try not to talk about it too much, because, you know, maybe there's something I don't know, but I don't know, dude. Okay. Thank you so much for the $10 from Jessica Pizzle. Funny thing is, Brittany is bringing up Anna Voir is hurting Anna because Anna has begged people to not talk about her past with Destiny anymore because it triggers her OCD. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like blah blah blah. Yeah, that's definitely true. But I don't want to sacrifice a whole bunch of shit to get that. Like I would much rather be like, yeah, that's the thing.
So let me ask you: you don't think it's a reasonable compromise to say, listen, I'm not mad like a lot of the stuff that you do, but maybe these more unhinged types of people.
When you say reasonable compromise, you make it sound like there's like a set. Like it can be totally reasonable for somebody to say, I want to eat shit every single morning. I want to have shit.
Yeah, just a little bit of shit is good for your gut health. If you it's a med. Sorry, I'm not gonna laugh. It's actually a medication for some people. If you have bad gut health, they give you a poop pill, and you eat someone else's poo-poos. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Shit, yeah, it's somebody wants to.
I legitimately think Mr. Girl's like an unhinged person who like would go on like,
potentially.
Okay, when you invite somebody like that in your life,
yeah,
like yeah, that would probably put a mental strain on a lot of people around you.
For sure.
For people to be like, yo, I would prefer if you weren't like bringing these people into.
Okay, I think I'm understanding the context now. It seems to be mostly like, hey, you shouldn't associate with some unhinged fucking people, and the Destiny's saying, no, I'm going to continuously associate with unhinged people. And it's like, yeah, that's Destiny's content, unfortunately. So I could see him having that response.
All of our orbits. I think that's a reasonable thing. Like this dude, like serial killer vibes. Like I'm not joking when I say like I could see him rolling up here and like murking everybody. I really do think that.
Yeah.
And so
True.
stay away from crazy people who might eat their girlfriends.
It's too sane. So here's my question, just so I'm not projecting. Are you saying you would rather have Max and Lav in your life than Melina?
Whoa, Jesus, you make it direct like that, but yes.
Yes, he's saying that.
But not.
What the? That's pretty shitty. Okay.
Like, wait, let me clarify.
Is it like the is it like cutting the baby in half thing from the Bible, where it's like more of if you propose the option? Well, that's probably not a good example, but is it more of like if you're going to force me to make a decision, then I'm going to choose against you just on principle, kind of a thing?
Clarify that. Hold on, because you're talking about marriage. It's not Max and Lav. It's the ability to have like those types of like insane interactions.
Okay, so you would rather have Max and Lav alikes
Yes.
than Melina?
Or than any partner that wouldn't be okay with that.
Okay, so
type of crazy.
I mean, I think it's a bad decision, but I kind of get it. I mean, his whole content is doing this. It has been before he met her. For her to marry him and then to decide that she wants to change that dynamic kind of seems like an overstep, no? It's definitely content brained, but it's it's like walking up to a fucking dog with foam coming out of its mouth and going, you better not bite me or it's your fault. It's like, oh, that's Destiny's done this forever, no? I don't know. Okay.
Let me ask you, sir.
I mean, I don't know. Destiny seems like the biggest, most obvious red flag in existence. I don't think there seems to be mostly the shitty things about this guy are pretty public, and we're all kind of aware of him. And if you're smart enough, you'll just not associate too closely with this guy. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just like, that's kind of how I feel. I respect the hell out of him for being so smart, but I don't really want to necessarily interact super closely. You know what I mean? Some things get crazy. Just things get a little bit crazy, man. You know what I mean? Especially, it's just fucking crazy. You know, and in the past I've wanted to interact with him more, but like and again I hate that my wife this. My wife's like, you should keep a reasonable distance, because she had a feeling, and I feel like she was right. That's why I listen to my wife a lot, because you know what I mean. So I'm happy to watch from afar, but some of the shit's fucking crazy, bro. Thank you for the $5 from Ben Schmoder. Pop, I love when you talk cringy about how much you love your wife. All right, it resonates with me. All right, listen, I don't care if it's cringy. Shut the fuck up. All right, shut up.
Would you say you'd want to be able to keep these people in your life, but not maybe so close to them, or not keep them as
like
friends?
if it turned it down to 80%, still want.
Yeah, so like actually have the interaction with them on stream, but not bring them so close into your life where they're involved with your family and stuff like that.
That makes sense. That's fair. That makes sense.
Maybe.
But after I realized he thought he was too smart for therapy, and it was clear that he was going to allow women to be thrown under the bus at every turn, I realized this man was never going to say it out loud. He was never going to say out loud that he had a long-term affair with Lauren Southern, that he lied to his wife, that he blamed her for the need to have the affair. Because when it came out and everybody saw they were getting a divorce, he never corrected the narrative. The narrative is that they were getting a divorce because she had cheated and left him for someone else. Not
Oh, was that the narrative? I don't remember the specific narrative. I remember being like, oh, like, I don't know. I mean, it's a very public affair. Weird that it's doing that. And my take was like, why did you marry somebody 10 years younger than you? Whatever she may have done, you should have saw the writing on the wall. It's kind of your fault on that. I don't remember that narrative happening. I think most of it was like, haha, cucked. Also, she danced with ABBA. That was the narrative. Was that the narrative, though, that it was her fault? Oh wait, yeah, wait for the Robbie. Was there like a weird TikTok guy that she cheated with? I don't really care. It's such a messy divorce. I just don't give a fuck. You know what? I just don't give a fuck about their messy divorce. Destiny's not like a lifestyle coach or like a life coach or good with relationships. I don't think I just I've never valued him for that. You know, I don't. Maybe I don't care enough. You know, but I only have so much mental bandwidth. I'm not super concerned with the edgy online Destiny gamer debate bro, who's very good at debating and I think very intelligent. I don't hold him to a particularly high relationship moral standard. He's just kind of a dick. Yeah. Okay. I guess I kind of... The TikTok I wanted to be exclusive with Melina. Okay, well, hopefully they're happy.
Not taking into consideration everything that came before that. Not taking into consideration the way that he lies and deceives. Not taking into consideration that the time that I was in Miami,
well, she learned a good life lesson and probably made some money out of it. So good for Melina.
He was busy on his phone.
And she got to dance with ABBA, so that's cool.
Arguing with Reddit comments, trying to stop a cancellation from happening. She was crying to me about ways to save her marriage. She spent that whole time in Miami asking me, can I save this? Can I help him? You don't know his good side. You don't know his vulnerable side. He's a good person. How do I help him?
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe he has good qualities, so sure, okay.
Only to find out that this good person that you were advocating for, that you were deceived by, went and threw you under the bus the moment he could. Damn. And every time I asked him to get off his phone so he could have a conversation with us, he'd say, I would, but my wife gets jealous if I get more attention than her. I would, but my wife is emotional and unstable. I would, but my wife. At no moment did he take...
Hey, me too. I would, but my wife. Stop making fun of me, guys. It's not nice.
Any accountability for the way that he was acting as a bad friend, the way he was socially interacting inappropriately, the way he was manipulating these women. Instead, it was always his ex-wife, his ex-wife, his ex-wife, his ex-wife. And listen, that should have been my cue to leave. I should have gone back on a plane and gone home. But I didn't. And I can tell you that that is a mistake in a lot of ways. But it's what I did. Because I, like many of you, we want to do emotional labor for those who won't do it. And so moving into...
I don't. I don't know, man. I used to. Now I got older and I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? I just kind of chilling to myself and helping being around people that I love and love me. And I keep that space and I've had a pretty good life this past year. So
2025, let's stop that generational cycle. Let's end that generational curse of doing emotional labor for people who aren't going to do it themselves. I've waited 2 years.
Hey guys, here's my advice. Maybe don't be friends with Destiny. But okay. It's the hottest take of the century, I feel like. Okay.
Years for Destiny to figure it out, to go to therapy, and to realize he is the problem. And he hasn't done it. And I am sick of seeing women bear the brunt of this man's abuse. And
of course he's not going to go to therapy and see that he's the problem. This is like Destiny. Of course he's selfish. Like I just, these aren't hot takes to me. Destiny got popular and famous without the help of somebody in like a relationship. Destiny's not going to value any person that he meets as much as he's going to value himself, because he hasn't felt like he's been improved by anybody else, because he's always been very successful with those relationships, right? Like, so like I don't really expect him to. Again, I'm gonna my wife it. I don't really care how cringe it is. A lot of my success has to do with my wife, so I value her tremendously, equally if not more than myself. That's my experience, obviously. Destiny is not going to have that, you know? He's like a rich guy who is dating women on the side. He's never really going to see anybody as equal to himself. He's a selfish person. Like, okay, it is what it is. Like, that's fucking super shocker. Thank you for $10 from Jay Salins. The problem I have with all this stuff is that there's no evidence of anything. For a guy that has been online longer than all these people combined, there's nothing, just feelings. I don't know, dude. The lore is so deep and there's so much shit. I don't know how much of this has and does not have evidence. It does seem like a lot of what she's saying is like, hey, he said these things to me in private. It's like, I mean, I don't know how much I can take that as a fact. Yeah, Papa wife guy. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't care how cringe it is. I don't give a shit how cringe it is.
Even though Kelly Jean, who is infamous in the community for mocking me, saying that my illness isn't real, and has been cruel to so many people, even Kelly Jean doesn't deserve this abuse.
Oh, well, she sounds like kind of a bitch, huh? I think because I know that Brittany has fibromyalgia. I used to date somebody with fibro, so it's very real. Apparently, it's not an autoimmune disease though. It's some kind of some kind of a brain issue of like your brain triggering off. That you have pain or something. Somebody told me that one time. I was like, that's interesting. Obviously, the symptoms are real, but...
two wrongs don't make a right, except that Destiny believes it does. And I just want to make sure that we understand that about his character.
So as heavily requested, let's talk about this Destiny, Piers Morgan, Donald Trump situation. And Destiny, if you don't know, is a controversial political commentator and streamer. He's been getting a lot of heat for his comments following the Trump assassination attempt, with a lot of the stuff he has said in the aftermath, both on stream and on Twitter, pissing off a lot of people. With this, including comments that he made about the firefighter who was killed during the shooting at the Trump rally.
The dude, the firefighter guy, Trump, the people that support him. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, getting blown away, whatever the I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter.
He's made points similar to that a handful of times. Also,
I mean, listen, he's such an edgy dick. Listen, man, I think that's terrible. He shouldn't have said that. Because I it's a terrible thing to say. But I think he brought up the fact that, like, after Paul Pelosi's house was broken into and he was beaten with a hammer, Trump supporters made fun of that. So he just doesn't care. So while I don't agree with the lack of sensitivity there, I could see where it's coming from.
Also tweeting about the situation seemingly nonstop since Saturday, with some of the posts gaining the most traction, saying things like, a person in a crowd cheering for and support.
Also, Donald Trump is a traitor, an anti-American traitor to the United States. And so, if you support him, I think that if you support him, you're probably just like manipulated by that. So I understand it. And there's a number of reasons. I know that you're probably disenfranchised with the current state of politics in general, and I get it. But, so I think that's where Destiny's coming from. Still terrible that guy died. But I'm happy Trump was not assassinated, unironically. Like, I don't think that would be healthy for the country at all. That would have been really bad for the country. I think conservatives need their more years of Trump to realize that he's not great. So, or maybe he'll do amazingly. I mean, either way, I win. Either this country fails and I told you so, or the country does really great and I get to live in the great country still. I don't lose here, dude. I don't lose.
A traitor to this country caught astray. I'm so sad, please. I'm sure Corey and Babbitt are both having fun with each other in hell right now. As well as Donald Trump incited an insurrection and then was granted full criminal immunity for possibly all of his involvement. I have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or anyone who supports him.
Please note that none of the anger directed at Trump has anything to do with the women he's assaulted.
I don't know what the women that have to do with that. What women has he assaulted? Oh, wait, what? That Trump assaulted? I'm so fucking confused. What? Okay. Listen, my wife is in the chat and she just said, I have to make a point of this. She said, I don't know what Destiny did, but I'm here to clarify that I think it's cringe to be an orbiter. He's just a regular guy. And so I think that's an interesting, fair enough. I love you. Thank you for the $2 from NK Ultra 06, Papa Base. Thank you. Wait, what was she saying there?
Moving forward. While I was there in Miami, please note that none of the
immunity for possibly all of his involvement. I have zero sympathy for anything that happens to him or anyone who supports him.
Please note that none of the anger directed at Trump has anything to do with the women he's assaulted.
Oh, she's saying that none of the anger that Destiny has for Trump has to do with any of the the sexual assault stuff. Okay. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be that guy. There's so much noise around Donald Trump. I don't know how much. I never even looked into that case. There's so much going on. So there's so much shit. There's so much complications around this situation. What I do know is that he called for an insurrection of the government. And then instead of stopping it, he used it as an opportunity to pressure his vice president at the time, who's not running with him, to accept faulty votes that vote against the will of the people. Yeah.
Moving forward. While I was there.
Am I a Destiny orbiter? Maybe a little bit. I'm like a Pluto, the Pluto orbiter.
In Miami. Once again, as he was throwing his wife under the bus, throwing everybody under the bus. You don't understand, Brittany. You don't understand. I was losing my mind. So he was allowed to use his mental health as an excuse for his bad behavior. But anytime women in his community are triggered, have moments of vulnerability, they're weak. They're girls. They're cluster Bs. Look, if you want to keep your life private, that's good. But you can't go around pretending you've done right by the people in your life when
my life is so much more public than anybody on the internet. I think there's 2 things about my life that people don't know about over the past 15 years.
I'm not saying Steven is a bad person. Like I said, I think the majority of the world is good. Okay? But I don't see Steven actually owning the fact that he's bad at relationships when he's giving relationship advice. He gives relationship advice, but he's not great at relationships.
That's true. That is very true.
Dude, I can't.
You really think it's a troll?
You're the evil devil, okay? Don't be here. You're gonna make me stop. You're the bad one, okay? That's gonna make me think bad thoughts. Okay, I'm staying.
No, I'm absolutely the angel on the shoulder. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I don't think she's trolling, but I don't know. She has such a wild impression of me that is so far from reality. Even the examples that she gave were so wrong. She literally gave the example. Sneako's open about his cheating. First of all, cheating to these guys is Giga Chad. They think that's cool. He literally talks about how I can't even say anything because I don't even know how much he's public with. I can't even say what I want to fucking say. I am so open with everything. I said I've cheated on Aaron 20 times. I've always said this. I don't lie any of this about my life. I can't lie anything about my life. My whole life is public. How the she possibly say this kid is more open than me? He says he's Islamic. He doesn't even know he's not open to.
Breathe. Okay. I see it. Obviously.
This is kind of ridiculous. He's having like a fucking mental breakdown here.
Brittany could have a bias with you because she knows about cheating, but then that wouldn't explain why she doesn't have a bias towards Sneeko. Correct? That's what's frustrating right now, right?
I don't know how she can say he's open-minded.
The first is, do you like...
I mean, I guess that's fair too. Okay.
I know you talk to a lot of people, and you seem actually quite open-minded to me.
He is open-minded. That is who Sneeko is. I want to know if Dr. K thinks Steven's open-minded.
How is he the open-minded one? I don't understand. There's no way.
I don't really see Sneeko as open-minded. It's hard to think Sneeko is open-minded. I mean, he's just on a complete crash course. I mean, like, what's open-minded about Sneeko? Well, I guess the one time where like he did have his open relationship, that was very open-minded. But outside of that, he's been extraordinarily closed-minded. He's incredibly anti-Semitic. He's following Islam to a T, or at least the parts he wants to, like justifying why it's okay for kids to get married and raped by adults. Like, I don't really understand what the open-minded aspect is to it. And like, no offense, but the more religious you get, the less open-minded that you get, because you're supposed to follow these incredibly archaic rules. You know, the most open-minded religious perspective you can have is that like not all of this was written by God, and it was like manipulated by people rewriting the Bible in different ways. So like, I don't know. I just like it's hard to say that he's open-minded. Okay.
I don't know if she's still like, is she upset from the conversation and it's just like carried over into everything now?
So remember, this man who argues that women in cluster Bs weaponize their mental illness to get away with bad behavior, he is the one who is doing this action. Moving forward in the conversations that occurred, there was a group event, and he admitted to something that I never thought he would admit to. Something that directly impacts his political, I think, desires to be accepted by the DNC and by maybe normalized political groups. The way he goes after other streamers for being too extreme. Remember, this man isn't a liberal because his values are liberal. He's a liberal because he wants to win, and he thinks it makes sense to be on that side to win for whatever reason. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask him. But
I'm not understanding. Well, okay, so, God, my brain is so fucking fried from all this information. Okay, I don't know if you could say that he's just on the progressive side just because he wants to win. Like, why would he, you're saying, I guess she's saying that he chose the progressive side because it's generally wins more or something? Okay, maybe. I don't know if I believe that. I definitely think he's a debater that debates, and he wants to win debates, but I don't think that he believes what he's saying.
the same man that says he worked so hard, the same man that is upset that the DNC and other people won't embrace him the way they embrace others, the same man that complains that for some reason people don't want to be around him, forgets to look at his own actions as maybe the reasons why. And so there at the restaurant in front of other people, for whatever reason, he felt comfortable telling us that he was committing voter fraud. I was shocked, to be honest with you.
What? Destiny committed vote. How did he commit voter fraud? What the fuck is this? This is so funny if it's true. It's just like, I don't even know if this is true, but if it is, it's just like funny to me. I don't know why. Okay.
I didn't think he would ever say that out loud. I think it's a pretty big deal, given his reputation online as somebody who wants to be in politics.
What does it mean that he's going to commit voter fraud?
And again, I'm not making the accusation. I am telling you what he told us. I'm telling you what came out of his mouth. He's a registered voter in Nebraska. He votes in Nebraska, even though he's in Miami and should have registered to vote there. But he thinks it's better for the Democrats that he votes in Nebraska, as Nebraska is conservative. Again, willing to win at any cost.
That's it? That's the voter fraud that you're propping up as like a big deal? Hey, that's not good. Okay. I thought you were saying that he was like going to buy 20,000 votes for fucking Hillary Clinton or something. I mean, I don't know. When would this have been? Joe Biden? Kamala Harris? He just decided to vote in a different state. That's not good, guys. I just feel like the term voter fraud is doing a lot of heavy lifting. That's legal? He allegedly voted in Nebraska where his kid lives and where he owns a house instead of Florida where he lives currently. If it is illegal, I don't care. People are saying it's actually legal. I still don't care. This seems like it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I don't know. I mean, maybe is it that big of a deal? I don't know. This doesn't seem like the slam you wanted it to be. Hold on. I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm pretty sure it's legal because he owns a house there. Did he vote twice? I don't know.
Even if it means cheating. This is Destiny. This is his character. And I think it speaks volumes. I should have left right there, then got on a plane and left. But given the circumstance and considering he wasn't the only one I went to Miami to see.
That seems like a little unhinged.
I stayed. I collabed and then I left. My idea of Destiny changed in my head forever. Because the more I learned about him, the more I realized This is just not a good person. But in a
Okay, so I just want to read this. What should I do if I own homes in 2 different states? Hopefully this goes without saying, but you may only vote once and from just one location. If you own homes and spend time living in 2 different states, vote from the state you identify as home or the state in which you spend the greatest amount of time. For instance, if you have a permanent home in New York to which you return each spring after spending just 3 months of the year in Florida, then you would vote in New York. If you spend equal amounts of time in both homes and are otherwise eligible to vote in both states, you can choose one state to vote in, and you should stick with that state, i.e. you should not vote in one state this year and then decide to vote in the other 2 years from now. Generally, residency is defined as a residence within the jurisdiction and the intention to be with a resident of the jurisdiction. Okay, so maybe he did vote in the wrong spot. I just feel like this isn't like the biggest care issue. Voter fraud for 1 vote is, I don't know. That seems like a bit of a exaggeration. Thank you for the 11-month small gut from Hi, I'm Ricky. Voter fraud nuke is crazy. Yeah, we got the voter fraud nuke. That was fucking wild.
philosophical sense, which is what my channel is based around. All of us are struggling, and if Destiny could face himself and get the therapy he needed, he might just be one of the greatest people. But for now, he's not. He is the Sneakos. He is the Andrew Tates. He's exactly the problem with masculinity and men in these bubbles who claim they care about women, but every move they
Andrew Tate raped a bunch of people and had like a sex trafficking cult. I feel like they're not the same. It's a little bit of exaggeration.
make is at the expense of those women. Every move Destiny makes is at the expense of anyone who gets
I don't know. I would kind of say that it's a little bit downplaying of like the atrocities of Andrew Tate to insinuate that Destiny's anything close to him.
in his way. Now, I understand the people in his life see the real good in him, and I think you see it too. There's a charisma.
I don't. The only good that I see in him is that he's a good debater and he's like very positive for the conversational space. But for progressives, I don't think he's a particularly good person.
About Destiny, same with Trump and Andrew Tate and all these people. There's something about them that feels so authentic, but it is a show. I don't think this video will change a lot of
what the fuck? Okay.
Parts, but I do think the right people will hear it. You might feel comforted because the way the internet has gaslit us into thinking that Destiny is just a victim, that everyone just hates him for no reason.
I don't think that at all. There's a lot of good reasons to hate this guy. Do people actually think that people hate Destiny for no reason? Not at all. If you hate Destiny, I totally get it. I still like him, but I totally get it. He's not exactly the greatest guy, but like how did we get there? I don't think that this is like a thing. Is it? People think that? I don't think a singular person thinks Destiny's a good person. I'm just being fucking real here.
Without considering the
I'm just being real.
fact that he has ruined, impacted, and honestly hurt so many people and their lives. It can't be ignored anymore, especially moving into 2025. We need to stop doing emotional labor for people who won't do it themselves.
Do you really think they'll move on? They've been stalking you for years at this point? No, because, well, for Destiny, he won't move on because he'll never give up. Like, his anger and resentment will carry on for the rest of his life. Like, he'll only stop, I suspect, if I stopped streaming. But for people in his community, they'll probably get bored. They'll consider it to be stale, and they'll move on to the other thing. But he makes a lot of money off of this. So the more I grow, the more my haters grow, and the more my haters grow, the more he can make money off of them. So I don't think he's going to, I don't think he's going to stop.
I don't think you're going to win with the whole Hassan thing. I don't know, man. I'm not really going to be on board with the whole Hassan thing, especially considering all the anti-Semitism going on. Again, I'm a fucking ethnic Jew. It's not really resonating with me. Not a big fan of tier lists that are Arab good to Jew bad. Okay? Because Arabs are good, and so are Jews. And there are Arab Jews, and I don't fucking know. Anyway, don't really care about the specifics of that. But again, not going to listen to this guy, the guy that's so anti-West, he justifies Russia genociding Ukrainians, the guy that's so anti-West that he has literal fucking brain rot. It's just not going to happen. Hassan is not a good person at all. But okay, I wouldn't reference this guy. I don't think it's going to resonate with too many people.
But it's all good. That's neither here nor there.
I mean, like, here's the reality. Hassan and Destiny are both pieces of shit. Destiny just seems to be more upfront about it. So I can respect that from Destiny. Destiny's just an honest piece of shit, so I can kind of respect it. You know, like, this Hassan is a very dishonest piece of shit. So, okay.
Or there, I'm a happy man. I rest easy at night knowing that I'm doing right by others. You know what I mean? You just gotta do what you believe in, you know?
I know in the past I've collabed with lots of not great people, and I have privated those videos because as much as I wanted to meet these people where they weren't willing to do the work, whether they were Sneeko, Lauren Southern, or Destiny. So when the Democrats say, do we need an Andrew Tate on our side? No, we do not. We do not need a Trump. We do not need any of these men who are willing to win at any cost. We need good people with good values who want to move the country forward. One of the things that stands out to me about Destiny is he believes he's not abusive as long as he doesn't hit women. That's why when Steven Crowder's videos came out of him abusing his wife.
If you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries. How do you respect the man? Yes, I'm a man.
I remember this. Was pretty fucked up.
I'm a man. Give it an Uber.
What did Destiny say? He doesn't think it's abusive?
Okay, Steven, I can't
feeling some constraints. Like I can't go.
Yeah, I remember it was like verbally abusive. Sure.
Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're gonna take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me. What
Buy another car, dude. What the fuck?
do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back. No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you're going to be back when I'm back? I love you very much. I don't love you. That's the big problem.
Terrible stuff. That's terrible.
I've never received love from you, and the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it, you go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay. Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous.
Isn't it like she didn't want to do something with cat poop because there's something in cat poop that makes your baby die or something? Right? Isn't that the context there?
Hillary, you're right in this. Become someone that's you need. Day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say the wife. As a wife. Hillary, come on now. I'm not gonna engage. I'm not gonna engage.
I hate judging. I hate evaluating like fights from like, or I hate evaluating relationships from single fights. Honest to God, I just don't have enough information to make any statement about this. It could be the case, for instance, that I mean, obviously, you should never you up to a partner. Like for this particular clip, it could be the case that it could be that he's like trying to keep her from going anywhere. He's trying to lock her in the house, etc. Like that, those could all be things for sure. It could also be the case that she's like an ultra super lazy that does nothing around the house ever, and he's getting tired of it. I mean, like we can sit here and jerk off about how evil and horrible somebody is, but like I hate trying to evaluate like relationship status from a fight. He's acting like a child. You don't know that. You have no idea though. You don't know. Like,
well, he is acting like a child. I mean, fundamentally, I can see where he's coming from with that. This seems to me like pretty abusive language. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
What if it is?
He changed his mind like a week later. What was that when more stuff came out? Okay. Cool.
Theoretically, it could be the
Destiny was waiting for more info. Oh, if that's the case, okay, cool.
Case. It could be the case that he just got home and is chilling after recording like a second or third episode from the day and found out that like everything in the house is in disarray or and maybe they've got a maid and she's got like 2 responsibilities and she hasn't even done that. It could be the case, right?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I've been with a woman who was extraordinarily lazy before. I was the one who worked in 2 jobs in many instances, and she just didn't do anything and she made excuses. So maybe that is true. I don't know. I mean, or at the time that this came out, I guess I could see where he's coming from with that.
Right.
This is the first watch. Yeah. This isn't like the deep stuff, right? This isn't anything deeper than that. Okay.
It could also be the case that he's just like walking around the house and he's lazy and does nothing. He thinks that since she has a job, he can boss her around all day to do whatever he wants. That could be the case too. But we just don't know. We don't have any. We have no context. The reality.
I mean, this seems like a decently reasonable take, no?
Is that I'll tell you this. This is just like a life fact. This is just, I don't know how else to tell you other than you'll learn when you get older. You cannot judge a relationship based on a 3 or 4 minute fight. If you think you can, it's because you're retarded. Full stop.
Well, I don't like that you use that word, Destiny, but there's a level of truth to that, sure.
That's it. You just can't. You can't. You have no idea. There are so many types of fights where once you get more information, you're like, oh shit, okay, I understand this, or wow.
Exactly. Like if you guys find out that my wife beats me relentlessly every day, wait for more information because I probably deserve it. I'm not making a joke, by the way. I love my wife. I'm making a little joke. I'm sorry. That's a little silly. But yeah, okay. I mean, this just seems kind of fair. It's okay.
Crazy, like,
especially at the time of what was going on. No.
Oh, okay. This makes sense why this person like you can never ever on like a 2, 3, 4 minute thing just evaluate on shit like this. Like you can't do it. So as long as we don't see someone beating his wife, we can't make any judgments. Yep, that's what I said. See you later, forever. Never ever on ban.
Steve.
I'm pretty sure that I'm pretty sure that was Destiny being frustrated because somebody boiled down his take to like, oh, so they have to get abused, like physically abused for you to believe it. And I don't think that's what he's saying. And so he got frustrated and banned that person. Does she think that he was being serious? I think that he was just doing that. Like he banned him out of frustration because he doesn't believe that. I don't think that was a particularly bad take.
Even wasn't sure what the issue was exactly. Lots of dysfunctional, abusive couples are this way. And Destiny normalizes that behavior constantly because he knows that is him.
Maybe sometimes like a level below you. You know what I mean? I just want to be treated as equal.
I mean, Destiny probably does treat his partners like less than. Like I said before, probably. I would expect that from him. I don't know if that makes him abusive. He's probably just like a piece of shit. Who would have ever expected that?
And even if she has a viable complaint about him not pulling his weight, not doing chores, not showing initiative, right? That she has to tell him to take the garbage out or tell him to, clean the dishes or something. That's okay. You can have that. She can have that complaint from here to Sunday. Is that an idiom? But that does not justify what she just said. Under no circumstances. Not
instantly because he knows that is him.
Maybe sometimes like a level below you. You know what I mean? I just want to be treated as equal.
And even if she
that's fair. I don't know who this guy is, and I don't care if he's a psychologist. I don't care.
It's him.
Maybe sometimes.
I just want to slow this down to make sure I get the context of what we're being shown here.
like a level below you. You know what I mean? I just want to be treated as an equal.
I think you get treated like an equal when you start contributing like an equal.
That's totally fair to me. Sorry. I don't know. If you want to be treated, if he's really not pulling his weight and he's not being equal, if he wants to get treated as an equal, then contribute as an equal. Now, that doesn't mean you have to make the same amount of money or anything like that as somebody else. But I don't know, man. I think I agree with that. You know, if you have the means to pull your weight and you're deciding not to and you're lazy, then you don't deserve to be treated as an equal to the other person in the relationship. It's not fair to them. So.
And even if she has a viable complaint about him not pulling his weight, not doing chores, not showing initiative, right? That she has to tell him to take the garbage out or tell him to, clean the dishes or something. That's okay. You can have that. She can have that complaint from here to Sunday. Is that an idiom? But that does not justify what she just said.
Justifies it to me. I don't know what else to tell you. If you're not going to act like a fucking adult, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody and they're basically your parent, then you're deciding to actively take a role as somebody who's not as equal as the other person. So, you need to earn the respect that you want. I don't know what to tell you.
Under no circumstances is it okay to treat a spouse like they are below you. Under no circumstances. So, and then,
Yeah, if their spouse is not contributing equally, then yes. I don't know. This is the problem, is that, if you want to be seen as equal, then contribute equally. And whatever. It doesn't have to be money. You know what I mean? But that you should be contributing in an equal sense where both people are content with that. So if she's actually right, then why would I feel bad for this guy for being belittled by her? I don't care. I don't give a shit. That means nothing to me. You're telling me that that if you had a partner that would just you worked all day, they barely worked, they didn't cook, they didn't clean, they didn't shower, they didn't do this, that you wouldn't build a resentment and treat them as less equal. I just don't. It's not really resonating with me. Okay.
At the beginning, she's still saying I'm blunt, I need to watch the tone of voice. But everything I'm saying is accurate and okay. But
treating your relationship transactionally is not a good idea. I don't know what that means, because I feel like you don't know what you're saying. All relationships are transactional. Everything's a transaction. You guys just look at it differently. My wife and I, we have transactional love. All that means is I treat my wife well, so she treats me well. You guys want to make it seem like it's a link to capitalism, but it's just about respecting each other. If you're not treating your partner in an acceptable way, you're a scumbag. You know what I mean? If you're not going to carry your weight, you're a piece of shit. And it's very complicated there. I remember talking about last year, my relationship with my wife was 70-30 in her direction. She was doing more emotional labor than me because I was having a rough time of it. And then this year has probably been more 70-30 emotionally for me to her. And we don't treat each other as non-equals. It's, the relationships are more complicated than that. And we support each other and we understand the struggles that we're all going through and all the complications. But fundamentally speaking, if you're with somebody and they're just taking advantage of you, I'm not going to treat you equally. Fuck you. I don't know. I've been in relationships where I've been treated unequally and I wish I left. So I'm not really going to sit here and be empathetic to this guy that, based on what she's showing us, is that he's kind of a piece of shit. I don't know their relationship. So I'm just saying, I'm not making a judgment against this guy. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. Okay. All I'm saying is that based on what we got showed, because I don't watch this show, it doesn't seem unreasonable that she's talked to him like that. There might be a treasure trove of context that changes that. But I'm not aware of that context. I'm not going to watch a whole fucking show to be aware of that context. This is what's being shown to us, to try to reinforce a point. So the only way that point will be, reinforced correctly is through how she's showing it. And if she's not showing enough, then that's on her. I don't know what to tell you.
I just need to be kinder when I'm delivering it. No.
He is similar to the Crowders, similar to the Sneekos, and similar to the Tates. No matter how much he tries to tell you, he debates these people because he isn't like them. Regardless of what he tells
I don't think he ever says he's not like them. I think it's more that he's just not politically aligned with them.
Himself, listen to what he's telling you. He's telling you every day in those streams exactly who he is. Believe him. The one last piece
that
he told
Yes, I do. I feel like most people know he's a piece of shit.
Me that I think really is what garners a lot of empathy is that he is traumatized and that he has suffered in his life, and that if you know anything about his childhood that's public, you know that this boy was traumatized.
If you're making this much money,
I don't care. Sorry, that's rude, but okay.
I don't want to live right here, right? I like to live like this. My parents lived right at the edge of their income for their whole fucking lives, but I would go and visit my grandma every weekend.
Yeah, me too. I like to live below my income.
My grandma, I didn't know at the time what's normal or not, but my grandma is really
weird, where she would like buy dogs and then kill them throughout the course of like the 8 years that
Yeah, you got to eat those dogs, baby. I don't care. They're animals, as long as you do it humanely.
I spent a lot of time with her. She must have had like 20 dogs. I would guess like anywhere from 15 to 20 dogs. But what she would do is she would buy a dog and then she would keep it for like 3 or 4 months. And then like it would do something wrong, like it would pee in the house, or it would
that's not good.
chew up some furniture, but like she never trained him or anything. And she would get mad, and then she would like make up a story about how the dog was sick, or she didn't want to give the dog up because she was worried that somebody would abuse it, and then she would take it to the vet and they would end up putting it down.
Why the fuck was the vet doing that for her?
Really weird thing that happened to me. One of the weirdest things, when I was living with my grandma, when I was 17. So we had a little, I don't even remember what kind of dog. So this dog got in trouble a ton. This little dog pissed an unbelievable amount in my grandma's room.
Isn't dog pissing potentially like a stress response sometimes? Like if they just keep pissing all over the place?
Whole floor next to her bed was coated in dog piss. Nice. One of the days that I got up to leave, it was like 4:30, 4:45, I heard the dog pissing in my grandma's room, and I'd never seen it before. And this dog was taking some massive piss. And I remember that I opened my door, and my grandma had her hands on the bed, and she was just kind of like barely like leaning over, and she was just pissing all over the floor. And she kind of looked at me, and I kind of looked at her.
What the fuck?
And I didn't say anything. And she kind of like grumbled a little bit, and then she like crawled back into bed. And I left, and I was like, holy. So I guess like all of that in the bedroom was just hers.
And my heart goes out to child Destiny. But you're no.
What the fuck just happened? Listen, I need a little bit more to know if Destiny was abused or whatever as a kid. That's just an interesting story about grandma piss on the floor. It sounds like grandma was fucking pissing on the floor in her sleep and thought it was a dog and then would put the dogs down or something. I don't know if that's a trauma. That's just fucking insane.
No longer a child. You're in your mid-30s and you want to be considered respectable. Here's your opportunity to be. Will you take it? I don't know. I wish nothing but the best for him in terms of his mental health.
I mean, if you don't like him, then you should wish nothing but the worst for him. I don't know. I just feel like that's cringe. Oh, I wish the best for you. Why? If you hate somebody, wish the worst for them. Or don't wish for anything at all. Don't waste your karma on them. That's how I feel.
PC's the right kind of therapist to help him.
Thank you for the $2 from Hogsicle. Papa got a story. True.
I hope he stops dating and interacting.
Except if it was my story, I would have kissed the dog on the lips. You know what I mean? Like that's more of a Papa Gut story.
And abusing people in the way that he does. I hope that he protects his community moving forward. And I hope the people in his life are able to hold him accountable in ways that I don't think they have, since he hasn't come out and admitted any of the fault that he's made. Remember that when his divorce was happening, he let the narrative be spun that it came out of nowhere, that she cheated and left him. Even Ray Williams.
Well, she was with that guy, right? I don't know. I don't get. It's just, okay.
Johnson covered this story, claiming that that's all that occurred, without ever taking into consideration anything that came before that. In some ways, if you look at the story in a different way, it was a woman in an abusive relationship who finally was able to be free, and that's also true.
But like, what makes Destiny like super abusive? I'm not really seeing the abuse. I mean, maybe we labeling it different things. Destiny's probably a neglectful, like, shitty husband. I agree with that. I mean, it's so obvious. He's so transparently not great. I don't know. Like if you interact with Destiny and he like makes you feel bad about yourself, that's kind of half on you. It's like touching a hot stove or like fucking putting your hand near a rabid dog. You know, I don't know. I mean, just the Destiny is so very obviously toxic. It's like I don't know.
Regardless of how messy any of these people are, they are people. And I believe in redemption. And I hope they all go on a path to seek that peace and redemption within their own values. I plan to move forward in 2025, making better and healthier connections. I'm going to be more diligent about who I collab with. I'm trying really hard to do my research before talking to people. I'm okay with political differences, but I'm not okay with a apologist. And I'm not okay doing whatever it takes to win in any political bubble. Last but not least, thank you to my audience.
But the whole political bubble thing was that he voted in a different state. That was a kind of a weak one. I don't know. This video, okay, great.
Audience who has been here, who has been supportive. And honestly, thank you to the people that sent me messages, both during the bridge burning and even recently, letting me know that you too have been impacted by these communities and by this content creator named Destiny. I understand it's not easy. It's scary coming forward. As many of you guys know, this isn't exactly the most peaceful content creator. And he often brags about they go low, he'll go lower. But I think it's time to say something. And I think it's time to make sure that people know what I intend for my audience and my content moving forward. Because I have been somebody who's been outspoken about standing up for what's right. And I have been somebody who has said, do not do emotional labor for these men. Do not do emotional labor for these people that are willing to take advantage of you. And so I just want to make it clear that I am no longer doing that. And moving forward in 2025, I really hope you don't either.
Okay. I guess it's a lot to think about. Interesting stuff. I always love the Destiny lore. Thank you for the $2 from Obi-Wan Kenobi. Papa Gut, how do you feel about Texas Roadhouse? It's okay. The rolls are great, but that's about it.